Hey, what's happening? I don't know if we'll get anybody to come on here on the live stream today. I didn't advertise, didn't push it. Hadn't been able to do a live stream on my typical Fridays in quite a while. Looks like Dolphin Man and Ryan Kramer are here. Good to see y'all today. It may just be the three of us for a little while. I don't know if anybody will show up or not. Can you hear me? Is everything working all right? Let me know there, Ryan. Dolphin Man. Let me know if my stream's doing okay. I don't know how much of a lag we're going to have. Everything looks like it's working good on my end. We got a couple people in the live chat, but it still tells me that 0 people are watching. So I know a couple of you are out there. So, what have you guys been up to? I hadn't had a live stream in forever. Been too busy, too many other things going on. Had eye injury. My camera looks like it might be a little overexposed. I don't know if we can get out of that bright light a little bit. Yeah. So, here's the news lately. Got my new glasses, unfortunately. I'm not excited about wearing glasses, but the good thing is I don't have to wear them all the time. They're just mainly reading glasses. They really probably do help on the computer quite a bit. So we'll roll with them for a while. I've never had glasses, and it wasn't all. If you aren't familiar with what happened, back at Christmas, Houston, my 4-year-old shot me in the eye with a Nerf gun, and spent, gosh, all night that night in the hospital, or at the hospital. We had to drive to Oklahoma City, which is about an hour and a half from here, to a retina specialist. And long story short, nothing necessarily permanent damage. It did cause some scarring on my eyes, or on my eye, but come to find out, through all the trips to the eye doctor, I guess I'm farsighted, and he said I'd probably need glasses pretty soon anyway, so he went ahead and prescribed them. But like I said, they're just reading glasses. Don't have to wear them all the time. He said it'd probably help if I did, cause less strain on my eyes, things like that. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. So, and here's the thing, and I don't know if you guys, any of you that wear glasses, I think they may be a little bit strong right now, and he said he might have made them a little bit too strong because this one eye is still a little bit dilated from all the medications, and it's okay sitting here looking at the computer, but if I go outside and try to work, I get a little bit of like motion sickness. Like it makes me feel like I'm on a spinning roller coaster or something. So is that normal? Anybody else have that problem? My stream just went to yellow. Sorry, that's why I quit talking. My stream health went to yellow, so it may be lagging a little bit. May not be the best, but maybe it'll turn back to green. Hopefully, won't have any problems this morning. These live streams, man, just take so much internet speed, and my internet speed just not the best here at the house. Um, so other than that, that's what's been going on lately. Is trips to the eye doctor a couple times a week. Man, I'm still off work. If you can't tell, not allowed to have a beard when I go to work. So when I'm off, man, I grow a beard, and I like having a beard. I just can't keep it at work. It's the pits, you know. It's just the way it is. But anyways, I go back to the doctor. Let's see, probably Monday or Tuesday I'll go back to the eye doctor and hopefully get released then to go back to work. I mean, everything seems fine to me other than that pupil still being dilated, which causes some issues with bright lights. And working in that patrol car, working in law enforcement, there's bright lights all the time. So the doctor didn't feel comfortable releasing me until we get rid of that dilated eye, which is crazy because so the eye drops, he had me on 2 different eye drops. Sorry, I'm reading some comments. They had me on 2 different eye drops, one to keep it dilated and one's a steroid. And that dilating eye drop, he said one drop could last 7 to 10 days. And for a long time, I was doing it 3 times a day. And then we stair step down. So I'm not on it anymore, but it's still, whoo. Simply Circus says, morning here. Morning. Not here long. Season end Sunday, still have tags and half empty freezer. Man, I haven't had the best season either, but it's my fault. I've been holding out for that big deer. I don't know if you saw that deer in the video. He's been, I had him on video. I had him on camera outside my house one morning, but I cannot get him to show up where I'm deer hunting, and I'm not going to shoot. I didn't have my bow in the house. Wouldn't do that anyway, so. Yeah, Mike, beard, yeah. I'm going to have to shave it pretty soon as as I go back to work. I don't want to. I really like it. I wish I could grow up, like a Mike Pratt family homestead, big burly man beard and put on a Viking hat, toboggan. I mean, that's just cool, right? I love it. I love it. I want one of those Viking hats, but my wife's not all for it. But I think that Viking hat's awesome, Mike. So I don't know. I didn't really have anything big lined out to talk about today. Hadn't been able to do a live stream in forever. Just so many things going on. And we've had the bug going around here making people sick around our area. Yesterday, let's see. I went to what is today? Friday. So Wednesday, I went to the eye doctor, and Weston went with me. And unfortunately, he hadn't had an eye doctor appointment in several years, and he's going to have glasses too. But after I left the eye doctor, I kind of started feeling a little off. I mean, I wasn't feeling sick. I just knew something wasn't right, and we went and had lunch, and I just wasn't feeling it. Got home that day, and man, I was sick to my stomach. Had some stomach cramps that were out of this world, and was sick all evening. And then the next day, which would have been yesterday, I just didn't feel right. And now I got 2 kids home. Got both Emily and Houston are home today. We live about 10 miles from their school, and we decided it'd probably be best for them not to go because they just aren't feeling right either. Let's see. Jonathan, how's that washer treating you? Okay, you guys don't know Jonathan. Jonathan is like mastermind computer guy. He lives here in our town, same town I live in. And it wasn't my washer, it was my dryer. So, and I didn't bring you guys in on this. I don't know, 2 months ago maybe, my dryer quit on me. And Urban Girl, what's up? Good to see you. So our dryer quit on me. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong. So, I went to my favorite place, went to YouTube and looked up that specific dryer. And everybody said, hey, it's this circuit board on the back. So I took it all apart and found the circuit board was bad and was like, well, I'll just order another one. So being cheap and being a tightwad, I decided, well, why would I buy a new one if I can get on eBay and find one out of an old dryer or something? And so I found one, ordered it, got it in, hooked it up, didn't work. So went back to YouTube, went to searching for the problem. And this one specific dryer, on the back of the circuit board, there's one circuit that burns out. And they said, hey, if you'll just solder that one little circuit back, that circuit board will work, you can put it back together. So I don't work on circuit boards, and I don't have the equipment to do it. So I called Jonathan and I said, hey, you're a computer guy. Could you solder the circuit board for me and see if this will fix the problem? And sure enough, I put that circuit board back in the dryer, fixed it, sent the other circuit board back that was not any good to start with. Fixed my dryer, didn't cost a dime. So thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate that. I'm so far behind in the comments. Hang on, guys. Let me catch up a little bit. Family Roots Farm says our whole family's been sick since before Christmas. Man, that's bad. I feel bad for you. Everything that's going around here has been kind of a 24-hour bug, and once you get past that 24 hours, you start feeling better, and that's about how long it lasted for me. Mike says, oh, great, I woke up this morning feeling like that. Great. Jenny is avoiding me like the plague. Yeah, that's normal. Well, man, it just flies around here. Once one person gets it, it just starts taking everybody out. So maybe she's doing the right thing. Grizz says vodka makes everything better. So, did you guys see Urban Girl Maria? Am I saying that right? Maria. Anyways, Urban Girl did a video on her channel a couple days ago, her weekly update, her weekly Homestead news video. and she had some special guests show up, and it's the first time I guess I've made a guest appearance on her show all the way out in California. She did some impersonations of me a couple weeks ago, which was just hysterical. But so apparently, if you move to California, or if you visit California and you have a beard, it'll melt. I didn't know beards melted in California, but if you haven't seen that video, oh my gosh, that woman, she is hilarious. Looks like we're getting quite a few people show up now. We're up to 15, which is pretty good because I didn't announce that I was going to do a live show. I'm supposed to do this every Friday for the Homestead Network, every Friday at 10 o'clock Central, 11 Eastern. With my schedule with work and everything that's been going on lately, I just haven't been able to do it. So, Family Roots Farm says, how many deer are you allowed in a season? Well, you're allowed 2 bucks and I believe 6 does altogether. Used to, when I was a kid, it was 3 bucks and they dropped it back to 2. And that made a world of difference on our deer herd population, on our buck to doe ratio and things like that. I really wish they would knock it back to 1, and because I mean, if you're just a meat hunter, go out and shoot those does, and then let those bucks grow. We've done we had some tremendous growth in our buck population over the last few years. So I think 2 bucks and 6 does, if that answers your question. Tangy, nice beard. Thank you. I appreciate it. I wish I could keep it, Working for the state, doing what I do, they say no facial hair below the corner of your lips. So when I go back to work, I could shave the beard off and keep the mustache, but my wife won't let me. DJ says, no, you look like a child molester. We're not doing that. So Dawn says, I have to wear bifocals, and when I've been on the computer or iPad for a while and then have to drive, I have to sit and look into the distance for 10 minutes to avoid that queasy feeling. Don, that's where I'm at right now. That's how I feel, and I'm hoping I can get past that. Hopefully, maybe the eye doctor said he could change the lenses and put a little less strong, a little weaker lens in there. I hope that fixes the problem, because I'm fine sitting here talking like this, but the minute I get up and go outside and start moving around, it makes me seasick like you wouldn't believe. And hopefully there's just an adjustment there. So Urban Girl, you leaving already? You're already cutting out on us? We just started, man. If you're leaving, though, see you later. Glad you stopped by for a minute. So, might talk about my goats for a few minutes. I'm thinking about doing a whole video on this topic. So one thing, I get a lot of questions every time I post a video about our goats and things like that. I get a lot of questions about, do we milk goats? Why do we have them, and what are we doing with them? And I've tried to kind of cover that. But no, we don't milk goats. That would be, Teresa said, so did you fix your squirrel problem? I think so. I only caught one in the trap, and I haven't noticed any new damage, so I need to go back and restain where they've already chewed up so I can actually tell if it's fixed. Anyway, so the goats, the dairy goats. We don't have dairy goats. I have, used to be all Boer goats, but I'm kind of switching over to Kikos. The Kiko breed's a lot more hardy, and they do a lot better. It's just a meat breed. The milk goat side of things, everybody, I guess when you put your channel name out there as a homestead, everyone automatically associates that with, I'm only living off of what I've got here, and that's not true. The dairy goat side of things is a really cool idea. It's just really hard to do. It would be neat. It would be neat. The ideal world is if you could go out there and milk whenever you wanted to, or whenever you had time, and then not have to worry about it for the next 3 days. That would be great. But the reality of the world is milk goats take time. You got to be able to devote twice a day, morning and evening, to milking, and there's just no way we can do that. And that's just the reality of what it is. Both my wife and I work outside the home, and my wife and kids aren't really Um, Big on goat's milk. I did have a friend here locally that was raising milk goats and was milking all the time, and I was getting milk from him for quite a while. And I was really more using it instead of just drinking it because my wife and kids weren't a fan. I mean, it takes a little getting used to, but I was doing it for the cheese, and so I was making like what they call farmhouse cheese, which is like a soft, crumbly cheese. And then I actually made my own. I built a cheese press off of one that he had that was made by the Amish, and I I loved it. The cheese was great. I wish I had access to more goat's milk without having to have goats of my own to milk. Because I mean, any of you out there that have goats or have ever had goats or have had a milk cow or thinking about a milk cow and you've looked at it, man, there is just so much time. You have to put so much time into it. Let me scroll up and catch up on some of the comments real quick, guys. Simply Circus says you do a great job management and food plots. Yeah, I try to. I put a lot of time and effort and money into my food plots. Um, this year, kind of in the prime of deer season, right about rifle season, when the rut was really kicking off, I had a lot of problems with my neighbor's cows, and they destroyed my food plots right when I needed them the most. See, here's another thing. Talking about milk goats and having to milk goats. My wife just texted me and said the girls' game starts at 5 o'clock tonight. So, 5 o'clock, that would be, I'd be milking in the evening. We got to go to a basketball game tonight. So, it wouldn't work. Let's see. Let me catch up on these comments. Mindy says, I've been waiting for my water to come back on. Been out since 4 a.m. That's the pits, man. I hope it comes back on pretty soon for you. Don said, my life has changed since I gave up my vanity and got bifocals to see all the time. Who would have thought that it was a good idea? Well, luckily I don't need bifocals yet. My vision's not that bad, so hopefully it doesn't start fading out faster. My eye doctor basically did tell me I don't have to wear glasses all the time, but the more I wear them now, probably the longer I'll go before my eyes start fading more. So try to make myself wear them. Wheat Tree says an American Homestead posted a new video on how to tend to them. What were you talking about? Was that back on the goat comment or on the goat conversation, I guess? Teresa said, do not like goat's milk or cheese. The milk, it takes some getting used to, man. It's different. And most people aren't a fan at first. But the cheese, I don't know. The cheese is great. I love the cheese. Mike Pratt Family Homestead says that we've been milking our kinder goats for 3 to 4 months now. We don't get a ton. We only milk in the AM. And if for some reason we can't milk one morning, then we don't. Babies take care of it. So yeah, I've talked to people and heard of a lot of people that that'll keep their babies locked up at night. That way they can go milk in the morning and then they just turn their baby out with them for the rest of the day. And I've heard people doing that. I guess you could just do that and then only lock the babies up over certain nights when you wanted to milk. But I just know our schedule and I know what we do and how busy we are. It would be almost impossible for us to do milk goats. I'm so far behind on the comments, guys. Teresa Dean, if you're just getting here late, I've already talked about my glasses and my eye and everything. My eye feels great. There's nothing wrong anymore. It feels great. It's still just dilated a little bit. Until that dilation goes away, the eye doctor won't release me to go back to work. I mean, he basically said if I did just about any other job, he'd be fine with it. But with working in law enforcement and my eye can't react to light as fast as it should, and it stays dilated with the flashing lights and strobes and all that, he didn't feel comfortable releasing me around all the bright lights and things like that. So maybe next week, early next week, I'll get released, and then I'll have to shave the beard. Dawn says, my comments don't show what he's reading in the comments. Maybe I need to refresh. More than likely, I've got a pretty good lag time. Usually I've got at least a 30 second to 45 second lag time in my video. I just don't have very fast upload speed on my internet connection. So I'm usually pretty far behind what you're seeing. Comments will come through and I'll read them, and it'll be, maybe 45-second lag. Fuel Homestead, hola, good to see you. Glad you're here. Yeah, I'm in the glasses gang now. I've covered that a couple times, but I don't have to wear them all the time, luckily. So I may just have to scroll down on some of these comments. I'm getting so far behind, guys. Teresa Dean said, can't get past the smell, but cow milk and cheese. Oh, my yeast. Oh, my yes. Yeah, a milk cow is going to be better tasting milk to most people, but holy smokes. If you had a milk cow, most people, you're looking at getting a gallon to a gallon and a half of milk per day or more. Holy smokes, that's a lot of milk. Wheat Tree says, how long do you leave the babies on the mamas? It depends. Okay, so my baby goat's probably about 3 months. It depends on kind of year to year and how good the grass is and how good everything's going for grazing and for pasture and things. If I got good pasture and the mamas are staying in good shape, I'll leave those babies on there a little longer. I may leave them instead of 90 days, maybe 120 days, because they'll grow faster with that mama's milk. But if my pastures aren't in great shape and my mamas are staying thin, I'll pull those babies off and wean them and put them on feed a little earlier so those mamas can be in good condition and get their bodies built back up before they breed again in the fall. Teresa Dean, how much does it take to get a high tunnel like the one you have? Well, okay. So I've talked about this in several of my videos, and in their old videos now, probably. I don't know if you've seen them. So my high tunnel was, I got it on the NRCS program. So every state is allowed, every state's different and every state gets a different amount of money. But the NRCS program is a cost share program through, National Resources Conservation, whatever it is. Basically, it's a soil conservation grant that they give to small farms. It used to be, the way I understand it, it was designed for market gardeners and things like that, people selling their vegetables. Over the years, it's kind of been phased down to just small farmers. And it's a soil conservation grant. Okay, so I applied for it. 1 year. I got in on the program a little bit late. They had already put out all the funding for that year and went ahead and applied the next year, got approved, and it was a cost share program. So my high tunnel, all total cost was probably close to $8,000. Now, that's very expensive. It didn't cost me near that much. So basically, depending on your state and how much money your county gets, it depends. They factor in a lot of things on how much you get paid. So basically, they pay by the square foot. And the way mine paid out, the cost share program paid for all but about $1,600. So it didn't cost me a lot out of pocket. Now there's some commitments that you have to sign up on. It's like I said, it's through a soil conservation grant. So they can come out at any time and inspect it. There's certain things I can't grow in hanging baskets. I can't put hanging pots in there. I can't make it just a strictly a nursery. They want you growing in the ground. You can do raised beds as long as they don't have a solid bottom. So my raised beds in there are just dirt underneath. So it's kind of expensive, but my high tunnel's big. I mean, it's 24 by 48. So it's a big high tunnel. I hope that answered your question. Tangy said save the bears and then save the beard. Save the beard. Tell the people you work for that they're infringing on your constitutional rights. Well, unfortunately, with what I do, that's not going to get me anywhere. That's not going to get me anywhere at all. Working for the state, we've got a pretty strict code, pretty strict set of rules to follow, and the beard is just not professional. So, it is what it is. Dolphin Man said, "I hope you're not getting a headache from your new glasses." Sorry. Telephone. He'll probably call my cell phone in just a minute, so I'm gonna have to send him a text maybe. Dolphin Man. So I'm not really getting headaches. I mean, I can tell the difference and feel the strain on my eyes from going from glasses and on and off. Not really getting a headache, but just motion sickness makes me feel kind of queasy when I get out moving around. Phil Homestead said, a milk cow. Woo, that's a lot of milk. We're going to get a milk cow last year and said, heck no, couldn't keep up. I agree. That's kind of what I've said. A milk cow puts out so much milk, and unless you've got several neighbors that are willing to buy some off of you or something, and depending on your state's laws and regulations, that it's hard to sell that milk unless you just kind of do it to your neighbors and nobody really knows about it, or you do it on trade. But yeah, that's a lot of milk. All right, so you guys are all telling me it's starting to buffer pretty bad. Let me go check. I may have a kid that it might have snuck a iPad into their room. Yeah, he's calling me on my cell phone now. Hang on just a minute. Sorry about that, guys. Let me go check with the kids and make sure they're not on the iPad real quick. Try not to get on anything that takes up the internet speed. Okay, guys, maybe that'll help. It says my stream health's not doing very good right now, so maybe it'll pick up in a minute. Fuel Homestead. Yes, I was talking about Dexter's the other day. Very compact, but produce a good amount. Would be a better option. Yeah, the Dexter cows seem to be a common milk cow that a lot of people use on a small family kind of homestead type thing. Dolphin Man says, are new homesteaders moving around your county? No, not really. I mean, are you asking if people from other states are moving in and trying to do the homestead thing? I would say yes and no. Okay, so I wouldn't say that there are people moving in around here. We're getting a lot of people in our area, it seems like, from California. I live in a very rural area, and the road I live on is not very populated. And in the last year or so, two houses have sold, and both of the buyers that moved in were from California, from different parts of California. Didn't know each other, but they both came and live a mile apart now. I wouldn't say they moved here to do like a homesteading type lifestyle. Both of them are older. I say older. They're not old people by any means. They just recently retired and were looking to get away from the high cost of living in California, and found a home here and was able to sell what they had in California and move here and be debt free. So one of them is, I'm not going to say they're trying to be a homesteader, but they're on about an acre. I did talk them into growing a garden last year. Went and tilled up a spot for their garden, so they did that. They got chickens. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say they're just dead set on homesteading, but they're just kind of getting into mentality a little bit. The other one, no, he just wanted to get away from California. But there's not a lot of people moving here for that reason, I don't think. Mother of Many Horses said, I heard on the news Oklahoma was getting bad ice storm anywhere near you. Well, we've been fortunate so far. They were predicting and still are predicting a bad ice storm. It's mostly northern Oklahoma, kind of the middle, from like the middle part of the state north is going to get it pretty bad. But from where I'm at in south, it looks like we're going to miss out on a lot of the ice. We may get some. Not a lot. Hopefully we'll miss it. It hasn't started raining here at all yet, but they're not predicting that it starts raining here until this evening. So it kind of depends. We're on that line, and if it drops below 32, it'll be ice, and if we can stay at that 33, 34, it'll just be rain. So. Yeah, I don't know why my stream's not doing very good right now, guys. I apologize. I don't know. Um, I got the kids off the iPads, and I thought that would really help, but doesn't seem like it's. Everybody still says it's buffering pretty bad. Don says homesteaders should share more information about grants like that. I'm sure there are a lot of programs that like that are available. Where did I learn about it? It was just word of mouth around here. I didn't know anything about that program through the NRCS, but several people around here knew that I was kind of getting bigger and bigger into gardening every year, and they started saying, "Hey, have you ever heard of this program?" So it was just kind of word of mouth. And in Oklahoma, there's not a lot of people that apply, so I didn't have a problem getting approved. But I've had a lot of people contact me after I did all the videos on building that high tunnel and everything, saying they had applied for several years and could never get approved. So, it just depends on your state and how much money your state gets and how many people are applying. But you can look into it. The NRCS has a website that has all the information about that program. So look on there, check it out. I'm sure there are other programs. I know one of my neighbors was able to get some money to help get a well drilled on their property for their livestock. It had to be for livestock. It couldn't be for their home, but they were able to get that. So I missed a comment. Where was it at? Jonathan Ransom said, I was thinking about building a raised bed garden this year. What time do I start planting? Well, Jonathan, it depends on what you want to plant. If you're talking about planting like tomatoes and cucumbers and squash and all that stuff, you're going to have to wait. I'd have to look it up exactly. I can't tell you right off the top of my head when our last frost date is, but you're going to be looking at like probably early April if you're going to just buy plants that are already started, since this is going to be your first year growing, just since you live in Sulphur. Jonathan lives in the same town I do, for those of you that don't know. Go to Pick of the Day and talk to Jason. You can buy all the plants there, or you can buy seeds there. If it's things like tomatoes and you've never grown before, start with the plants. I wouldn't start out with seeds on tomatoes. Things like beans and squash and cucumbers, you can all grow from seed pretty easily, but you're going to have to wait until we get past our last frost date, because the frost will kill most of that. Now, if you're talking about things like lettuce and spinach and leafy greens, you can get those planted a little bit earlier. And then maybe if you're going to plant raised beds, build something where you can kind of cover them with a piece of plastic or a tarp if we're going to get below freezing. But things that aren't going to be frost hardy or freeze hardy, you're going to have to wait until late March, early April probably. Only Prepper Homestead says, how long have you worked for the state? I have been a trooper since May of 2006. So it's a crazy story. It just worked out. It never works out like this for anybody. And I don't know how it worked out. So let me back up. In December of 2005, my dad passed away. And then May like 13th, 15th-ish, I graduated from college. And then a week later, I started patrol school. and which I was gone for 16 weeks on that deal. So, you know, that was a big change in my life. But basically, I started with the Highway Patrol in May of 2006. So almost 11 years, going on 11 years. Gosh, guys, I'm so far behind on the comments. Riviera's on Homestead. What's up? He said, what's up? All digging the videos. Keep up the good work. Thanks. I appreciate it. I got to get past. Man, I'm so far behind the comments, guys. All right. So it looks like my stream's doing a little better now. It's still showing red on my end, but it looks like from some of the comments that that it seems to be working a little bit better now. I don't know. Yeah, thanks, Wheat Tree. I'm glad you're trying to help keep me help keep me up here. I get so far behind the comments, so thanks for telling everybody repost their questions if I missed it. Um, I haven't had any problems with my keyboard. I don't know. I run an Apple computer though, and everything seems to be working great. I hadn't had any keyboard problems at all. Is my I want to know how far behind my stream is. Okay, guys. I don't know how much I'm lagging because from the video that I'm seeing on the bottom of my screen, I'm lagging pretty bad. But I don't know what the lag time is, so I'm gonna do a little test. Okay, I'm gonna clap my hands. Hang on, let me get a timer started, just because I'm curious. I'm gonna clap my hands, and when you guys see me clap, I want you to leave a comment. Okay. Let me get the timer stopwatch. Okay, ready? When the first person sees it and leaves a comment, I'll stop my watch and we'll know how long my lag time is. Teresa Dean says, gonna be using my dehydrator today, gonna dry some apple slices. Man, my daughter Emily loves dehydrated apples. If I could go, if I had an apple tree and could get anything out of it, I guarantee you she could eat 100 pounds of dehydrated apples. That girl loves them, and they're so easy to make. It's not a problem at all, man. Just slice those apples, roll them in a little lemon juice, and dehydrate them. They're great. Man, y'all are just now commenting on things that I said about California, and that was several minutes ago. So my lag time has got to be pretty bad right now, guys. I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't stop my my stream and start over because it's still showing my stream health is not good. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what would cause that. Maybe I should talk to Jonathan because he works at the telephone company that provides my internet service. Maybe I need to change something with my internet service because, man, with at least a 2, 3, 4 minute lag time, it's hard to keep up with you guys. When you comment, it's a long time before you get an answer. Yeah, the local Oklahomans. Luckily, the people that have moved here from California weren't like big time city folk. They were both of my neighbors that have moved in weren't from L.A. or San Francisco or anything like that. They were from rural parts of California. They just kind of wanted to get away from stuff that was going on out there. The cost of living and everything, it just sounds like it was so high. So they were just trying to come somewhere that was a little more cost effective to live in retirement. Teresa Dean said that when they built the maximum security prison here, many moved here, but not the kind you want as neighbors. Man, that's the pits, man. I would have thought you might have had some people move in that could, people looking for jobs that work for the prison, but I wouldn't have thought it would have brought in a 60% increase in crime. Man, that's no good at all. Susie Q, what online weather website do you recommend for Oklahoma? I almost always just use the Weather Channel app. Um, it may not be the best all the time, but I hadn't had too much problem with it. It's pretty up to date. The radar on there seems to be okay. A lot of people are big on our local channels 4, 5, and 9 out of Oklahoma City. They all have their own apps. KOCO. Everybody has their own app for each channel, but the Weather Channel app just seems to work great for me. I hadn't had a problem with it. It's fairly accurate. Grizz says I need to try to reset my router. What do you mean by resetting it? You mean like unplugging it for a minute or two and then plugging it back in? Because we do that every once in a while. And it seems to help sometimes if we're having issues. But is that what you're talking about by resetting it, Grizz?
Mom texted me back. Mom texted us back.
Houston, you want to come say hi?
Who is it?
Lots of people. You don't know who all. Hey, have you been on the iPad?
Yes.
Yes. I told you not to stay on the iPad because I need the internet, okay?
I was playing the game.
You were playing a game? Okay. Well, don't get on YouTube or anything, okay?
I didn't.
All right. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi. That's all you got? Here, I'll click it so you can see yourself. There you go.
Hi.
Hi. So what? Why are you here today? Because you sure don't look sick right now.
I don't feel good.
You don't feel good?
Mm-mm.
Well, you sure felt really bad yesterday. You didn't look good at all. You seem to be feeling better today, though.
I don't.
You don't? Are you going to act sick now?
Mm-hmm. I might get sick later.
You might get sick later?
Yep.
I hope not. I hope you don't get sick.
All
right. Hop down.
Emma's turn.
Emma's turn?
Yep.
I think she's just going to stand there and look at the computer.
Yeah.
Emily's not a big fan of the live show thing because she doesn't know who she's talking to.
Yeah.
Houston just likes to be able to see himself, don't you?
Yeah.
Easy. All right.
Stinky.
Well, guys, so my timer's been running for almost 6 minutes, and you guys still haven't seen my clap. Yeah, I clapped.
What's clapped?
Don't worry about it. Anyways, so I don't know. My lag time is terrible. All right, Don says, would the county extension office have information about grant programs like that or similar programs to help homesteaders? Does anyone know? Yeah, Don, that's exactly where I went, was to our county extension office, and they actually had a person that works in that office that does the NRCS stuff. There's several different programs. There are lots of different things. Not all of them are going to apply to a small farm or a homesteader. Some of them are for big, ranches and cattle ranchers and things like that. But get off the table. Get off the table. Dude, no. So, yeah, go to your county extension office or just do a Google. As Justin Rhodes says, just ask Mr. Google Pants, and Google will give you all the information to the NRCS program, and then contact your county extension office, and they'll get in contact, with they'll put you in contact with who you need to know, who you need to talk to. Yeah, man, my lag time is terrible. Yeah, it's just easier to answer some of these questions in the chat, guys, because man, I'm so far behind. I've never had this much issue. Um, I'm up to 8 minutes. I don't know if you guys can see this. I did my little clap test 8 minutes ago,